A girl appeared for just a few seconds in MrBeast's Squid Game video. A very short moment, but it was enough to make the entire internet start talking about her. At the time, people described her with just one word: cute, beautiful, innocent. No one expected that this random moment would become the beginning of one of the most controversial internet stories today: Camila Araujo. Today, she is not just a random face in a massive video. She is one of the biggest content creators on TikTok and Instagram, with millions of followers and a powerful presence across social media. But the real question here is not about her fame. The question is how she actually built it. Because behind the polished image, there is a completely different story. A story filled with controversy, exploitation, and shocking decisions. At first, everyone thought she was just a cute influencer who would be different from the rest. But over time, that image started to change, and bigger questions started to appear. Is she really the same person she shows on camera? Or is there something deeper and more disturbing happening behind the scenes? Today, we are going to tell the full story. From exploiting close relationships to entering the world of controversial content and building her name step by step inside an industry that shows no mercy, all the way to the creation of the Bop House that changed everything. But before we start, I have a small gift for you, a giveaway of 10 iPhones once we reach 100,000 subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to enter. Now, let's dive into the story from the very beginning. To fully understand the story, we need to go back to the beginning, back to Camila herself. And even though there isn't a lot of clear or detailed information about her personal life online, some research on Reddit and other sources gives us a slightly clearer picture of her early days. The information suggests that Camila was born in 2002 in Brazil and later moved with her family to the United States, where she settled in North Carolina, in the city of Raleigh. She completed her high school education there, and after graduating, she started trying to break into the world of content creation with full focus. At the beginning, she had no real traction on Instagram. She even tried to position herself as a model or fashion influencer, but behind the scenes, she was already building a very different path. She also had a presence on paid subscription platforms like OnlyFans. But the real turning point in her life did not come from any of these traditional attempts. It came from an opportunity she never expected. In 2021, MrBeast released his real-life Squid Game video, a massive production that gained millions of views worldwide. Camila was one of the participants in the video, playing the role of player number 067. Even though she did not make it to the end or win, her appearance alone had a massive impact. Not because of her performance, but because of her appearance and presence, which immediately caught people's attention. At the same time, her Instagram account suddenly exploded in followers. Later, she stated that she was not originally supposed to be part of the video at all. She was working as a personal assistant for MrBeast, and she was asked to step in and replace a participant who dropped out at the last minute. And from that moment, everything changed. Within just 24 hours after the video was released, her Instagram account gained over 150,000 followers. This was the moment she started using that momentum in a very direct way, promoting her OnlyFans account openly. This was the first time she truly leveraged a viral moment on a large scale, and it quickly turned into major success for her. But instead of taking a more conservative path after gaining fame, she chose a completely different direction, a path built on controversy. At the beginning of 2024, she joined the Bop House, a place that quickly became known for its bold and unconventional content that spread widely across the internet. With ongoing drama and constant attention surrounding it, Camila quickly managed to establish herself as one of the central figures inside it. Her role did not stop at simply appearing in content. She began showing up in podcasts and participating in almost every video, as if she was trying to position herself as a leading voice within this new environment. But before going deeper into the details, it is important to understand one key point: how Camila was shaping her public image. At one stage, she started posting content that made her appear as a positive figure, someone who cared about her followers, stayed close to them, and occasionally even did things that made her look generous or charitable. But that image did not last very long. Even with her strong presence on Instagram, TikTok, and OnlyFans, it became clear that all of these platforms were part of a larger strategy to build a public persona. And the real reason behind her growth was not just the content itself, but her ability to constantly stay in the spotlight and generate trends. She did not just convince people that she was a kind and relatable personality, she made her audience feel like they were part of her life, her stories, and her personal moments, to the point where many followers felt a direct personal connection to her. But over time, a very different observation started to appear, that a large part of this closeness may have been artificial. This is where we arrive at the first major turning point in the real controversy surrounding Camila, and it is directly connected to the Bop House. The house was founded by Sophie Rain, and even its name carries clearly suggestive implications. Its concept was built around bringing together female content creators who produce bold and provocative content under one roof. It was an idea that immediately attracted a large audience of young viewers, and at the same time caught the attention of both new and established creators across social media. After Camila entered this world, she was no longer just another member. Very quickly, she became one of the central faces of the house, the person around whom many of the events and attention began to revolve. But this closeness to the audience and the image she was trying to build for herself did not always work in her favor, because over time, the controversy surrounding the nature of the content inside the Bop House started to grow in a serious way, and especially when one of the most talked about controversies at the time emerged, the case of Piper Raquel. Piper, a TikTok content creator, was only 17 years old at the time. Despite that, she appeared in situations that sparked major backlash, including dancing alongside creators associated with OnlyFans within the Bop House environment. And what shocked many people even more was a clip that was posted from inside the Bop House showing a direct welcome to Piper, while she was still underage. For many viewers, her presence in that environment was seen as a serious mistake. And that is where the real explosion began. A massive wave of criticism hit the Bop House as a whole, but the main focus quickly shifted toward Camila, since she was widely seen as the face and de facto leader of the house. At that point, Camila moved quickly to respond. She came forward and clearly stated that what happened was wrong. She then posted a clip showing Piper leaving the Bop House, and in the same video, Piper was described in a way that many people considered harsh, even going as far as calling her odd or strange. From that moment, opinions started to split. Some believed Camila was trying to contain the damage and manage a crisis that was bigger than anyone inside the Bop House, almost like she was the only one trying to restore order in the chaos. This created a new perception among a large group of viewers, that Camila was different from the other girls in the Bop House and more focused on her reputation and public image. Even when she was asked about it later, her response was direct and firm. She said she was not responsible for anyone else and that she was not Piper's mother. She reinforced this point by saying that every person is responsible for themselves and that everyone has been 17 years old at some point, meaning teenagers don't always listen to advice or guidance from adults. But the story did not stop there, because another controversy was already on its way, and it would completely change the way people saw Camila. This time, the person at the center of it was Ashley Trevino. Ashley is a well-known online personality, but also a highly controversial one. Many people have accused her of being a bad mother, and others have claimed she has had relationships with younger men. Camila decided to approach this situation in her own way. She recorded a podcast episode where she invited Ashley as a guest and openly addressed all the allegations circulating about her online, without holding back. During the episode, Camila directly confronted her, accusing her of not giving her daughters the love and attention they deserve, and calling her a bad mother. At the same time, it is important to note that during the conversation, Camila sometimes presented arguments that appeared reasonable. She defended the idea of protecting children and said they should not be exposed to environments that could negatively affect their lives. But the contradiction here was very clear, because the same person speaking about protecting children had previously been accused of using her younger brother to gain more attention and grow her audience. And in a similar context, Ashley's daughters were also brought into the Bop House environment, a decision that many people saw as directly conflicting with the values Camila was defending. At this point, the public perception began to shift more clearly. More and more people started to feel that Camila was willing to use anything, any story, any person, any situation,
as long as it could generate views, engagement, or another viral moment. After the massive backlash online, Camila eventually had to delete some of the episodes and clips she had posted, but by then, the damage was already done. Later, Ashley herself made a shocking statement. She said she regretted taking part in the podcast that Camila later referred to as an interview with the worst mother on TikTok. She also spoke about her daughter, explaining how being involved in the situation had a negative psychological impact on her life. There were even claims that Ashley never received the gifts Camila said she had sent to her daughters, and that the entire story may have been exaggerated or used as a way to present Camila as a kind-hearted person who helps others. But the story did not end there. Camila later came back with another explanation, claiming she had evidence that Ashley was the one who refused the gifts in the first place, and that the situation was not portrayed accurately online. At the same time, Ashley admitted that she had indeed received large payments from the podcast, but she also said she regretted involving her children in the situation from the beginning. And just when things seemed like they might calm down, every new interview and statement only made the fire burn even stronger. But despite all the previous controversies, a new chapter began that was even more intense than anything before. This time, the situation reached inside her own family, specifically her teenage brother, Christian.
Over time, people online began to notice that Camila was including her brother in her content in ways that raised serious questions. Was this just family content, or was it a direct use of a minor to increase views and engagement? The situation escalated further when Christian himself spoke out about what he was going through. He said he was being bullied and under a lot of pressure because of his sister's actions and the way her content was affecting his life. And what shocked many people even more was Camila's response at the time. When confronted, there was no clear sympathy or emotional support. Instead, there was a cold exchange that gave many viewers the impression that his feelings were being downplayed. This specific moment spread widely across the internet and became one of the most controversial points in their entire relationship, especially when additional scenes appeared where Camila was directly discussing her OnlyFans account with her brother. Many viewers considered the tone completely inappropriate, with a clear dismissal of his emotions in favor of justifying her own actions. But even if we assume there was some level of agreement between them to film this kind of content, the bigger question for the audience remained. Is it actually acceptable to involve a minor in this type of environment at all, even with consent? Over time, more clips surfaced that made the situation even worse. In one of them, her brother spoke about being harassed and asked uncomfortable questions by his friends, directly because of the content being shared about him and his sister. In another widely discussed clip, he asked her embarrassing questions related to her content, and the conversation was publicly shared with millions of viewers. That specific moment was seen by many as the lowest point in her public image, because it clearly showed how personal life was being fully exposed to the audience, with no real boundary between private and public. In several other clips, Christian openly talked about the pressure he was under, while Camila often responded in ways that escalated the controversy rather than calming it. And here we need to be clear. This was no longer just about content, fame, or OnlyFans.
This became about a minor being placed inside a constant cycle of public pressure, and the impact was clearly affecting his daily life. And even if some people tried to justify it, there was still a strong public perception that he was being directly used in order to generate engagement and growth. And it did not stop there. At one point, Camila appeared to try to compensate for the situation by buying gifts for her brother and family, sometimes even expensive material items. But for many people, this was not seen as a solution. Instead, it was viewed as an attempt to balance out the negative impact, as if material gifts could offset emotional pressure or public controversy. In the end, the picture forming around Camila became extremely complex. A very intelligent person who knows how to create trends and stay constantly relevant online, but whose decisions repeatedly triggered controversy and left a noticeable impact on both her image and the people closest to her. And many viewers ultimately reached one conclusion: that Camila, despite all her skill in content creation, was willing to walk right on the edge of controversy as long as it meant more fame, more views, and more money.